Mom told me that I made my sister Chloe deaf by hitting her. Because of that, she said they owed Chloe 99 favoritism coupons. On my birthday, Chloe wanted a mango cake. She whipped out one of the cards, and Mom immediately replaced my strawberry cake with mango, even though she knew I was severely allergic to mangoes. When Chloe was caught smoking at school, she used another card. Mom forced me to take the blame for her. The whole school rumored that I was a delinquent. For an entire year, nobody would talk to me. From the time I was 8 to 18, Chloe used 96 cards, and I endured 96 cold shoulders. I used to think that once she used up the last 3, I would finally get the same love from my parents. Until today, while helping Mom clean the house, I stumbled upon a medical report from 18 years ago. It read, Chloe 2 months old, newborn. Diagnosis, congenital bilateral deafness. A cold shiver ran down my spine, making me tremble uncontrollably. Her deafness was never my fault. My parents' lack of love for me was the only real thing. There was no point in hoping anymore. I should have realized long ago that they didn't love me. After all, Chloe was always the princess of the house. I was just the other daughter, the disposable one. Rubbing my tired eyes, I looked down at my phone. The family group chat on Snapchat was open, but as I scrolled up, my finger accidentally tapped to transfer. It was only $20, sent by Mom with a note for Chloe's smoothie. My finger froze. My instinct was to send it back, but the money had already been accepted automatically. The next second, Chloe's voice message popped up, dripping with sarcasm. Hazel, how can you be so shameless to steal my drink money? Mom clearly sent that to me. You sure are fast with your fingers. Mom chimed in immediately, her bias showing in every word. Hazel, send that money back to Chloe right now. Her ears have been hurting lately, and she just wants something sweet to feel better. Don't fight her over such petty things. A faint pang of pain went through my heart. Silently, I Venmo'd $20 back to Chloe. Just as I locked my phone, Chloe's whining voice echoed from the living room. She was hugging Mom's arm, swaying back and forth, saying she needed new clothes for graduation. It was an intimacy I was never allowed to have. Perhaps my gaze was too intense. Mom shot me a sideways glance and snapped. Hazel, can't you be more like Chloe? If you want something, just say it. Stop standing there with that miserable face. It looks pathetic, but just saying it was a privilege for the beloved, not for me. Ultimately, Mom dragged me along to the mall. All along the way, Mom held up dresses against Chloe, buying her everything she wanted. At the last store, a dress caught my eye. An elegant white dress, a style I'd secretly liked for a long time. The size was perfect. I gathered my courage and spoke up. Mom, can I try this one on? But Chloe grabbed the hanger, refusing to let go. She pulled a brand new favoritism coupon from her purse and stuffed it into Mom's hand. Mom, I like this one too. I'm using my coupon. This dress is mine. Mom looked slightly hesitant. The sales clerk tried to diffuse the tension, saying to Chloe, this size might not fit you. Well, sweetie, we have the latest arrivals over here. Why don't you take a look? But Chloe remained stubborn. So what if it doesn't fit? I like it. Besides, Hazel owes me. Mom immediately stepped forward and forced my hands off the dress. She looked at me. Her face was cold and hard. You're older than her. What does it matter if you have one less dress? Chloe has bad hearing. Any minor irritation makes her ears ring. Just let her have it. I stood there, my knuckles turning white. Ever since we were kids, clothes, stationery, snacks. As long as Chloe pulled out a coupon, I was always forced to back down. The weight of 96 past humiliations rushed over me. Suppressing the bitterness, I asked quietly, Mom, if I were the one with a hearing loss today, would you make Chloe give in to me for everything? I couldn't help but think, what if she only loved Chloe more because of her ears? When Mom heard this, her eyes flickered. The next second she raised her voice, full of accusation. Why do you have to compete with Chloe for everything? It's just a dress. Is it really worth being so petty over? Chloe's hearing loss is your fault. Instead of being understanding, you're always comparing yourself to her. How can you be so narrow-minded? Caused by me. That one casual sentence crushed my last shred of hope. Their guilt was only reserved for Chloe. I was never within the scope of their care. Just then, Chloe walked out of the fitting room wearing the ill-fitting white dress. Spinning around triumphantly, she intentionally bumped into my shoulder and whispered mockingly, that's what you get for breaking my ears. You owe me. You should give me everything. I lowered my eyes and quietly looked away, no longer arguing. On the way home, I pulled out my notebook and crossed out the 97th grid. Give the white dress to Chloe. Only 2 empty grids left. I stared at the dark night outside the window. My heart was completely numb. Once the last 2 coupons were used, I would leave this suffocating town forever and never look back. I looked closely at the previous grids. Each one felt like a knife scar on my body. The 96th grid read, she threw away my SAT prep materials. Suddenly, I remembered how damp and cold the rain was that night. 3 months before the SAT, I had organized all my study prep materials, which I had saved up for a whole year to buy, into a canvas backpack. Never I had a spare moment, I would study. But Chloe took advantage of the time I was taking a shower and threw all my materials into the trash outside. By the time I realized my books were gone, the sky was completely dark. I was trembling with anxiety. I dragged Chloe to ask where my books were, but she didn't show a hint of remorse. She laughed and pulled the 96 favoritism coupon from her pocket, handing it to Mom, who had rushed over. Mom, I'm using my coupon. I just hate seeing Hazel red all day. Those books are gone, so tell her not to yell at me. Holding the paper coupon, Mom immediately shielded Chloe. She turned around and scolded me harshly. It's just a few books. You can just reprint them or copy them again. Why did you have to scare Chloe? Her hearing is already so fragile. You yelled at her so loudly that her head hurts. Can you take responsibility for that? My eyes burned with tears, my voice shaking. I spent a year saving up for those materials. There are practice tests in there that you can't even buy anymore. There are only 3 months left before the SAT. How am I supposed to start over? Dad sat on the sofa, was scrolling through his phone, chiming in casually, you're smart. Missing a few books won't affect your test. Chloe was just being a playful kid. Let it go. A coupon is on the table. This matter is settled. Don't bring it up again. I ran downstairs to search the bushes. It's black and pouring rain. My legs were scratched and bleeding from the thorns, but I refused to stop. It wasn't until midnight that I found my materials. They had been soaked into a muddy pulp by the rain. They were completely ruined. Squatted in the thorns, picking up the torn pages one by one. The cold wind whipped my face, mixing with the tears streaming down. But the cold outside was nothing compared to the ice in my heart. A neighbor passing by saw how miserable I looked and kindly helped me. Meanwhile, my parents stood at the entrance of the building, busy comforting a sulking Chloe. They didn't even bother to come down and look at me when I got back inside. Holding the wet, ruined books, I ignored my feverish and battered body. I tried to negotiate with my parents, asking if they could help me buy new materials. Mom waved her hand impatiently. Our money is saved for Chloe's future college fund. Figure out your own problems. Who told you to pick a fight with her anyway? In the end, I had to stay up until 3 o'clock every single night manually reconstructing those materials. Pulling my thoughts back to the dozen, I traced that line of text. It felt hilarious. Back then I studied so hard because I wanted to major in pre-med. I wanted to cure Chloe's ears. I wanted to wash away the guilt I supposedly owed her. But it turned out I never owed her anything. Suddenly my phone rang. It was my high school counselor, Hazel. The school offers a special $5,000 community merit grant for outstanding graduating seniors. If you need it, come to the office tomorrow to fill out the form. I quickly agreed. I knew that to escape this family and go to college, I would need a lot of money. But the moment I hung up and opened my room door, I found Chloe eavesdropping outside. Without a shred of embarrassment, she ordered, "Hazel, give that grant money to me." In front of our parents, Chloe threw a massive tantrum. She stomped her feet, ears flowing on command. I want the latest iPad Pro. Everyone in my class has one for graduation except me. I can't even play games properly. She snatched the 98th favoritism coupon from her pink wallet and slammed it onto the wooden dining table. The paper made a sharp slap against the wood. She shot me a smug look as if this was completely natural. "Mom, I'm using this coupon. Make Hazel transfer her grant money to me so I can buy my iPad." Mom, habitually taking the coupon, looked at me and said, "Hazel, tell your counselor that Chloe needs the grant more. Bring the application materials out and sign them over to Chloe." Dad put down his phone and chimed in, his tone taken for granted. "What's wrong with fulfilling Chloe's wish for once? Don't forget her ears are like that because of you. You can't always be so greedy over a little money." I clenched the edge of the table, my knuckles turning white. 18 years of accumulated resentment finally exploded. Loaded. This is my merit grant. The school gave it to me because I work part-time while maintaining top grades. On what grounds do you expect me to just hand it over to her? I raised my voice, openly defying them for the first time. My parents looked shocked. Even Chloe froze. Chloe has everything she wants: clothes, jewelry, allowance. I have to work part-time just to afford food. And you've never once asked if I was struggling. Why do you always sacrifice me for her? When she saw me talk back, Chloe cried even harder. She threw herself into Mom's arms, clutching her sleeve. "Hazel just hates me. She's doing this on purpose. She broke my ears, and now she won't even let me have this little thing." That sentence was the spark that ignited Mom's fury. She stood up abruptly, rushed over to me, and slapped me hard. Across the face. Slap. The slap echoed through the dining room. For a few seconds, nobody moved. My face burned. My ears rang. But strangely, I didn't cry. I slowly turned my head back toward Mom. She was breathing heavily, her hands still raised. "How dare you talk to your sister like that?" she snapped. "After everything we've sacrificed for you." I stared at her. Then I laughed. It wasn't a happy laugh. It was quiet, hollow, and completely unfamiliar, even to me. Mom frowned. "What's wrong with you?" I wiped the corner of my mouth and looked at Chloe. She was still hiding behind Mom, pretending to sob. Then I looked at the pink wallet sitting on the table. The 98th coupon was gone. Only one remained. One. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my notebook. I turned to the page where I had carefully recorded every humiliation. I drew one final line for the 98th box. Chloe's eyes widened. "What are you doing?" "You smiled the hair." "Counting." Mom's expression hardened. "Hazel, apologize." "No." The room went silent. Dad slowly looked up. Mom stared at me as if I had suddenly become a stranger. I took a deep breath. "Tomorrow, I'll use the last coupon." Chloe immediately brightened. "Good. Then you'll finally stop being jealous of me." I shook my head. "No, Chloe." I closed the notebook. "The last coupon isn't for you." Her smile disappeared. "It's for me." Mom scoffed. "What nonsense are you talking about?" I looked directly into her eyes. "One final favor." Then I walked upstairs. For the first time in 18 years, I wasn't planning how to make them love me. I was planning how to make them regret losing me. That night, I didn't sleep. I opened my laptop and searched through every document I had secretly collected over the years. The medical report, school records, the original hospital birth certificate, bank statements, every favoritism coupon, every accusation, every time my parents had forced me to take responsibility for Chloe. And most importantly, the original medical records proving Chloe had been born deaf. I scanned everything. Then I created one folder. I named it The Truth. The next morning, I went to school. My counselor was waiting. "Hazel, about the grant." "I'll take it." She smiled. "Good. You'll need your parents' signature for her." "No." I placed the document on her desk. "I am legally 18. I don't need their permission." She stared at me. Then she smiled. "You're right. I signed every form myself." For the first time, I was choosing my own future. But when I returned home that afternoon, Chloe was waiting. She was holding the final favoritism coupon. She waved it in my face. "Mom said you're going to give me your grant." I stared at the card, then at her. "No." She blinked. "What?" I said no. Her face twisted. "You can't say no." I just did. She ran downstairs screaming. "Mom, Hazel is bullying me again." I heard footsteps. Mom stormed upstairs. "Give Chloe the money." "No. Don't make me repeat myself." I smiled. "You won't have to." Mom raised her hand again. But this time I caught her wrist. Her eyes widened. I'd spent 18 years shrinking myself whenever they raised their voices. "Not anymore. Don't touch me again." Dad appeared behind her. "Hazel, let go of your mother." I I released her wrist. Then I reached into my pocket and pulled out the last coupon. Chloe's eyes lit up. I knew you'd give in. I held the coupon between two fingers. Then I tore it straight down the middle. Chloe's smile vanished. Mom's face went pale. What did you just do? I dropped the pieces onto the floor. Your 99 coupons are finished. Chloe screamed. You can't destroy that. I looked at her calmly. Oh, I can. Then I pulled out my phone. I also found something else. I tapped the screen. A photo of the medical report appeared. Chloe's congenital deafness diagnosis. Dated 2 months after her birth. Before I was even born. I turned the screen toward them. Apparently, I didn't break her ears. Nobody spoke. For the first time in 18 years. They had nothing to say. I smiled. And that was when the devil inside me finally woke up. Not because I wanted revenge. Because I realized something much worse. I had been innocent the entire time. And now I had 18 years of evidence. I was done being their victim. I was going to become the person they wished they had never betrayed. The silence lasted only 3 seconds. Then Mom snatched the phone from my hand. Where did you get this? I calmly took it back. Your bedroom. Dad's face changed. That report could be fake. Then let's verify it. I opened another file. The original hospital record. Chloe's newborn hearing test. The date. The doctor's signature. Everything. My mother stared at it, trembling. Chloe stepped forward. Mom, don't listen to her. She's lying. I turned toward her, then explained something. I held up the report. How could I have caused your deafness when you were diagnosed with congenital deafness 2 months before I was born? Chloe froze. Dad's eyes snapped toward her. Chloe. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. I smiled. For 18 years, she had hidden behind one sentence. You broke my ears. Now I was taking those words away from her. Mom suddenly slapped the table. Enough. She pointed at me. Even if the report says that, you don't know what happened after. I laughed. That's the best you have. Dad stepped forward. Hazel, we're your parents. We made mistakes. Mistakes? I pointed toward the notebook. 98. My voice became colder. 98 times you deliberately chose her over me. Mom's eyes filled with tears. We were only trying to protect your sister. No. I shook my head. You were trying to protect yourselves from admitting the truth. Chloe suddenly grabbed Mom's arm. Mom, tell her she's lying. Mom looked at her. For the first time, there was hesitation in her eyes. Chloe noticed. Her expression changed instantly. She grabbed the last remaining piece of the coupon from the floor. Mom, I still have part of it. You have to listen to me. I almost laughed. That's not a coupon anymore. Chloe's face twisted. You ruined everything. She lunged toward me. I stepped aside. She stumbled into the dining table. Hazel. Mom screamed my name, but I didn't move. I simply looked at Chloe. You're 18 now too. She stared at me. So am I. I picked up my bag. And unlike you, I don't need Mom and Dad to fight my battles anymore. I walked toward the door. Dad called after me. Where are you going? I stopped. To college. We haven't agreed to that. I turned around. You don't have to. Dad's face darkened. Hazel, don't forget we raised you. I smiled. You raised Chloe. I opened the door. You just happened to keep me alive. I walked out, but I wasn't finished. That afternoon, I met with the school counselor again. I handed her the medical records. I need one more favor. She read the documents. Her expression slowly changed. Hazel, I don't want revenge through rumors. I placed my phone on the desk. I want the truth officially recorded. She understood. If you're reporting a false accusation that affected your education, we can document it. Good. I smiled. Because I'm going to correct 18 years of lies. 3 days later, the school received the report. The rumor that I'd caused Chloe's deafness was formally challenged. Then something unexpected happened. One of my former teachers called me. Hazel, I remember your SAT incident. I froze. She continued. You told me your study materials were destroyed. Yes. I didn't know the truth back then. She paused. I do now. She sent me a photograph. It was from the school security archive. Chloe was standing beside the trash bins, holding my backpack, and smiling. My fingers tightened around the phone. That photograph was dated 3 months before my SAT. The 96 coupon, the ruined books, the sleepless nights, all of it. I forwarded the photograph to my counselor. Then another email arrived. From a classmate. I remember Chloe bragging that your parents would always choose her because of the coupons. Then another. I remember when she blamed you for smoking. Then another. I still have screenshots. My hands went cold. The coupons hadn't just ruined my childhood. They had created witnesses. And now, those witnesses were coming forward. That evening, I returned home. Chloe was sitting on the couch. She looked furious. You've been telling people things about me. No. I walked past her. They've been telling the truth about you. She jumped up. You think you're better than me now? I stopped. No. I looked back at her. I think we're finally equal. She suddenly smiled. It was the same cruel smile she'd worn since childhood. You'll never win. I smiled back. Chloe. She frowned. What? You still don't understand. I picked up my suitcase. I'm not trying to win. I opened the front door. I'm leaving you with nothing to win against. Then I walked away. Behind me, I heard Chloe screaming. But for the first time, I didn't turn around. The next morning, my parents woke up to hundreds of messages. At first, Mom thought it was spam. Then she opened one. Then another. Then another. Someone had posted the medical report. Chloe was born deaf. Not because of Hazel. Not because of an accident. Not because of an 8-year-old girl supposedly hitting her baby sister. She had been diagnosed with congenital bilateral deafness before Hazel had even been born. Underneath the report was a simple caption. So why did this family spend 18 years punishing an innocent child? Mom's phone slipped from her hand. Dad's face turned white. Chloe screamed. Delete it. But it was already too late. People were sharing it. Former classmates began posting screenshots. Teachers came forward. Neighbors remembered Hazel searching through the trash for her ruined SAT materials. One classmate posted an old message from Chloe. Mom will always take my side. I have coupons. Another posted. Hazel can't do anything about it. My parents owe me. Then someone posted a photograph of the 96 coupon. The entire story started unfolding. One coupon. One humiliation. One lie. At a time. By noon, the family's name was everywhere. Not because they were famous, because people were disgusted. Mom called me. Hazel, please come home. I declined. She called again. I declined again. Then Dad called. His voice was different. Not angry. Afraid. Hazel, we need to talk. I answered. What do you want? We can explain. You've had 18 years. Silence. Take your time. I hung up. That afternoon, I went to the school board with my counselor. I gave them everything. The medical records. The screenshots. The witness statements. The photograph of Chloe destroying my SAT materials. The messages proving my parents repeatedly forced me to accept blame. And the grant documents proving I'd been financially supporting myself while my parents claimed they couldn't afford my education. Nobody spoke for several minutes. Finally, the administrator looked at me. Why didn't you tell anyone sooner? I smiled bitterly, because I thought they loved her more because she was disabled. The room went silent. I didn't realize they loved her more because they simply didn't love me. The administrator lowered his eyes. I'm sorry. Those 2 words nearly broke me. Not because I was sad, because nobody had ever said them before. That evening, the school released an official statement correcting the rumors surrounding me. The same people who had avoided me for years started apologizing. I didn't accept most of them. The damage had already been done, but I didn't need their friendship anymore. I had my future. And my parents? They were beginning to lose theirs. The story reached their employer, then their community, then everyone who knew them. People began asking one question. How could parents knowingly destroy their own daughter's childhood just to protect another child? My father was removed from a volunteer leadership position. Mom's friends stopped answering her calls. Chloe's graduation celebration was canceled. The boutique refused to refund the dresses she had bought using money my parents owed elsewhere. Then the bank called. My parents had been transferring money from an account meant for my education into Chloe's college fund for years. My father had always told me, we don't have money for you. The records showed otherwise. They had simply chosen where the money went. And that was the final piece. My parents were forced to explain every transfer. They couldn't. The college fund was frozen pending investigation. Chloe's dream of attending her expensive private college collapsed overnight. She called me screaming. You did this. I calmly replied. No. You ruined my life. No. You exposed my family. No. She went silent. I continued. I only stopped protecting your lies. She started crying. Please, Hazel. That word sounded strange coming from her. Please. The girl who had never said it before. Help me. I looked at the suitcase beside me. No. Why? Because you spent 18 years teaching me that being your sister meant sacrificing everything for you. I paused. Now you can learn what being my sister actually means. What? Nothing. I hung up. 2 weeks later, I moved into my college dorm. My parents tried one last time. They arrived at the campus carrying boxes. Mom cried. Dad apologized. Chloe stood behind them. For once, she wasn't carrying a coupon. There were none left. Mom whispered, we're still your family. I looked at all 3 of them. I know. Then I handed Dad an envelope. Inside was every remaining piece of evidence. He looked confused. What's this? Everything you lied about. Mom started crying again. You don't have to do this. I shook my head. I'm not doing anything. I turned toward the dorm entrance. The truth is already doing it. I walked inside. Behind me, I heard Chloe scream my name. I didn't turn around. Years later, I would hear what happened to them. My father and mother eventually separated. The house was sold. The college fund disappeared into legal fees. Chloe never got the life she had expected to receive from everyone around her. And the 99 favoritism coupons? I kept the notebook. Not because I wanted to remember the pain. Because I wanted to remember the moment I stopped begging for love. I'd spent 18 years thinking I was the disposable daughter. I was wrong. I was the only one who could walk away. And that was the cruelest punishment of all. They had spent my entire childhood making sure Chloe believed she was a princess. But when the castle finally collapsed, I was the only one who walked out standing.